we're grateful and we're thankful for our beloved student regional minister. And we ask him to come on forward. And we want to receive our beloved brother with a thunderous round of applause. Our brother, our doctor, Dr. Brother Abdul Halim Muhammad. Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I'm a student of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I can never thank Allah enough for his intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the great Mahdi who traveled 9,000 miles to seek and to save that which was lost. And we can find no other persons or people in the book of Scripture more fitting of the lost sheep, the lost coin, the prodigal son, the children of Israel than the black man and the black woman of North America. We thank Allah for fulfilling his word and his promise found in the word, whereby he said that he would not send somebody, that he would come. And he has indeed come, and he has demonstrated his love by appearing and visiting us here in the hells of North America. We thank him for raising up one from among us to lead, teach, and guide us, one who would speak our language, one from among us, so that we would know, in fact, that God is God. And how would we know that? Because he would leave evidence that he had been here by taking a man that was considered to be no man at all and raising him up and giving him wisdom that confounded the scholars of this world, and to do that which was impossible, and that is to resurrect the black man and the black woman in North America into a living perpendicular, and to make us a people that are worthy, not of praise, for Allah, God himself, is the one that's worthy of praise, but yet to make us praiseworthy in so much as we praise God in the right and proper manner by demonstrating what we believe every day of our lives. We thank him, we thank him, we thank him for raising up a man who is misunderstood by most and coming to be known by many. But I speak of the man who gave you Malcolm X, for without him there would be no Malcolm X. The man that gave you Muhammad Ali, for without him there would be no Muhammad Ali. The man I speak of is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's our messenger, Messiah, and now exalted Christ, and we thank Allah for him and for his example. We thank him for laying a foundation of Islam in this country, for without him there wouldn't be halal meat stores. There would not be masjids all over Houston, Texas. When we were there, we were like the only show in town. So it might have been us and the East Side Center, whereby the people, the immigrants used to go and pray. Now there's masjids everywhere. We thank Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for laying that base of Islam in this country. But if I live to be 1,000 years old, and God bless me to have 1,000 mouths and 1,000 tongues, and I can speak in 1,000 different languages, I can never thank Allah enough for the man that I met at 19 years old as a college sophomore, who even at that time, he had not come into the realization of the mission that he would be laid upon his shoulders, that would be to rebuild the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He touched me in such a way for those 2 days that I spent with him, I never was the same. I saw something in him. I didn't know what it was, but I saw something in him. It was more than charisma. It was something that very humble, very loving, very special about this man. Though he was famous, yet he had been humbled because the Nation of Islam that had been built had been tore down to the ground, and he, as national representative and star without equal, his star had sunk down, had fell. But yet he was still humble because God put him through a process that would prepare him to come and rebuild the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And in doing so, we could follow him because why? Because we're watching a man who had risen, had fell, and rose again. So we can see, we know that he is not better than us in that way, but he has shown us the way that we can be successful, the way that we can have greatness if we would just humble ourselves and submit to Almighty God and put our faith totally in God, solely in God, and we would be able to move mountains, in fact, do something that really is impossible, to rebuild the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the midst of all of the enemies and opposition. And when I speak of the star without equal, a man with impeccable character, sublime morals, I speak of the one who loves us more than we love ourselves, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I greet you once again in greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. My brothers, my sisters, you make sure you give Brother Eric and Sister Tamara and everybody that came up before, give them a round of applause, please, if you will. Okay, let's go to work. Y'all ready to go to work? Yes, sir. Hey, let me give you my Joel Osteen impression. Y'all ready for this one? There were three men driving in a car. One was an astrophysicist, a Caucasian, great European astrophysicist. And the second one was an Asian. He was a great Asian philosopher. Both of them had won Nobel Prizes for being an astrophysicist, and the other one for philosophy. Won the Nobel Prize. And driving the car was just, driving Miss Daisy, just Mr. Johnson. He was a black man. He was driving them, and all of a sudden the tractor trailer pulled out, and they crashed, and they went off, and all three of them died, and they went to heaven. They got to heaven, and they met St. Peter at the gate, and said, St. Peter, let us in. We've lived good lives. He said, well, I'm sorry, fellas. Down on earth, people's dying so fast, there's no room up here. We only got room for one of you. He said, well, they looked at each other. They said, well, which one of us going to get in? He said, well, I'll tell you what. Ask me a question that God can't answer, and I'll let you in. The gates will open up, and you'll be able to come in. So the astrophysicist with old arrogant self, he jumped up so I can ask a question. He whispered in St. Peter's ear this question. Boom, the gates didn't open up. Said, sorry, you're just going to have to wait here till the gates open up. Then the great Asian philosopher, he says, I know all philosophy. I know everything. Let me tell you, he whispered in St. Peter's ear. Boom, the gates didn't open up. Black man, Mr. Jones, walked up to him. He whispered in St. Peter's ear. The gates of heaven opened up, and he walked in. The astrophysicist looked at the philosopher. Philosopher looked at the astrophysicist. They both looked at St. Peter. They said, St. Peter, I asked you these great questions about the origin of the universe. Gates didn't open up. I asked you a question to ask God about the origin of philosophy and the cognition of man and his ability to think, and the gates didn't open up. He said, what did the driver ask you? He asked me, when would black people ever get together? Pretty good. My Joel Osteen impression. Brothers and sisters, that's a heck of a thing to think about. But that's a question only God could answer. Because what was done to us was nothing done to any other people that's ever been done in the history of the world. Oh, there's always been slavery, yes, but not like what we experienced. To rob a people of everything and to make yourself master, in other words, to replace God himself with you as master, for people who love you more than they love themselves. Rob them of their language, their ability to think for themselves, their culture. Took the drum from us, our art, everything that they could, they took from us. And here we are, as Mr. Farrakhan say, black white people. Oh no, black white people. Black white people. When somebody does that to you, and makes themselves a God besides God, in your and my mind. You see, brothers and sisters, you don't want to accept the truth because in the back of your mind, you're afraid that the truth may offend your slave master's children. It's not what will your homeboys think, what will your homegirls think, what will my mama think, what will my daddy think, what will my brothers and my sisters at the house think if I accept Islam as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Really what's in your mind is that what will white folks think? Because who taught them how to think the way they think? The way to greatness, brothers and sisters, is what we're going to talk about today. I hope y'all okay. I'll do the best I can, brothers and sisters, to get this over in the next 4 hours. Well, you can say I'm in a good mood today. So let's talk about the basis of everything that I am talking about, which is these three. Master Fard Muhammad, our Savior, who came to us and made himself known on July 4th, 1930 in the city of Detroit. He met the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad September 22nd, 1931. He taught him day and night, 3 years, 4 months, and then he left him. He left him. And he left him with a mission on his shoulders. He gave him the most difficult job that any man would ever have, and that would be to resurrect us from mental death. We're spiritual people. It's not spiritual resurrection. That's not what we need. We're the most spirited people you ever want to meet. But mentally, we're dead. And so now our spirit, that energy of life, is always misdirected because we're not able to think as a free and independent people. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan puts it like this: he who gives you the diameter of your knowledge prescribes for you the circumference of your actions. So even though now the Ku Klux Klan, they're making a resurgence, but it isn't like it was after Reconstruction when they bombed and dynamited our churches and burned down our businesses and killed our families and lynched us and murdered us and did what they did to us. It's not like that anymore. Hell, we're doing it to ourselves. So who gave us the diameter of that? Self-hatred. That gives us the circumference of our actions of murdering and killing one another. When you go get a gun, who you get a gun for? If you get a knife, who you gonna cut with that knife? Come on in your mind. You ain't thinking about your enemy or your slave master's children. What I'm gonna do, me and my homeboys gonna get together, we're gonna plot the revolution. No. You got that wish religion. I wish a Nick would. I wish you would. Who's sitting in my seat? And white people got hope religion. You got wish religion. White people come with their 2 tickets and they see there's 5 chairs and there's 4 people in the chair. He says, well, I hope no one's sitting in our chair, dear. Black man walk up to that same row. He got 2 tickets. There's 5 chairs and there's 4 people in it. And so I wish would be in my seat. They got hope religion. We got wish. Because you wish somebody would so you could take out all of your anger on somebody. Frustrated black man. Frustrated because the vision that's in your head can't come to fruition. Because everywhere you look, north, south, east, west, up, down, in, out, you're frustrated from accomplishing what you know you were born to be, and that is to be a God. You're frustrated. And nobody ever wants to cut you a break. But God has come to free you from the shackles of your own mental slavery. And to make you free, justified and equal with all mankind. He came and he gave you a flag. The sun, the moon, the stars, the best of his creation he's given to you. That's right. The sun, the moon, the stars, which means you're free, justified, and equal with all mankind. This is a flag that never flies at half staff. All of us could die, and one of us could be around. We'll never lower that flag to half staff because you can't lower the universe to half staff. Y'all all right? He left for us the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and as I said before, like our Moses, he taught us the law. And then he went away, and he left behind for us a spokesman, a representative, in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who in his absence, is the one that lead, teach, and guide us in the name of that Moses. Y'all okay? Yes, let's go and get into our lesson right away. The difference between us and the Nation of Islam and many of our Muslim brothers and sisters around the world is we subscribe to the same book, the Holy Quran. We're taught to pray 5 times a day. We fast during the month of Ramadan. We give in charity, both obligatory charity, which is zakat, and sadaqah, which is voluntary gifts. We do that. There are those among us who have made their pilgrimage to Mecca. That's right. That's one of them. And inshallah, in a few short days, 10,000 of us are going over to Mecca. Y'all ain't hear that. But if we look at the condition of our world, our Muslim world, we see that she, the ummah is a feminine word, ummah. She is in turmoil. She's in trauma. Muslim slaughtering Muslim. Nationalism superseding our religiosity, if you will. Sectarianism among us. 1.5 billion people on this planet claiming the same God, but shooting at each other. One with an RPG, rocket-propelled grenade, saying Allahu Akbar. Another one with an AK-47 in the foxhole, shooting, saying Allahu Akbar. Well, God is the greatest. What are you doing shooting at each other? Satan has come, as he said. He promised he would. He said, I'll come in thy straight path. Talking to God now. Satan talking to God in the Holy Quran. I'm going to come at them in thy straight path. Come on. So the world of religion, the world of economics, politics, education has all been infiltrated and taken over by Satan. This is Satan's world. God's earth, God's universe, Satan's world. And right now, brothers and sisters, we're going to have to divorce ourselves. We're going to have to file for divorce from Satan so that we may now live a life where we won't be abused any longer. What separates us is some supreme wisdom that Master Fard Muhammad gave to his student, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. In it are some instructions that he gave to those he called laborers. Now, we're given some things called lessons. And in these lessons are the answers that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave to Master Fard Muhammad after he asked him a series of questions. But he also gave him 13 original instructions to the laborers, those who would help Mr. Muhammad. And the first one was that the student must study his assignment, which is lesson number 1. Each student should copy the answers of lesson of Minister Elijah Muhammad and study until the student is able to memorize by heart all answers to of said lesson number 1. No. Here, lesson number 1 is said to be the student's assignment first. Lesson number 1 lays the base for our work today. It gives the student a clear knowledge of himself and his heavenly home and the best part of the earth, and who is the enemy to him and his nation, and why the enemy and the righteous could not live together, and why was the righteous able to cast out his enemy. This teaches the student what he must do with the enemy of the righteous today. The righteous nation is now living in every part of the planet Earth. Therefore, the enemy must now be removed in every part of the planet Earth. Why is stress made to the Muslim to copy the Minister Elijah Muhammad's answers? The past history shows that the Almighty Allah sends prophets and apostles for the people's guide and example, and through them his mystery was revealed, and those who followed the apostle would see the light. So the way to greatness, brothers and sisters, is not something that we just come up with over ourselves. God is so merciful and so wise, he'll give us an example to follow so we may see the light and find the pathway to greatness. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. That's what I wanted to lay the base with. Let's go to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us. He teaches us about the Holy Quran in Message to the Black Man on page 93. He says this, and I quote, "The Holy Quran's readings are not the kind that will lull one to sleep. But to get a real Quran, one should know the Arabic language in which it is written. However, you can find a good translation of it by Yusuf Ali and Muhammad Ali. Not Muhammad Ali, the boxer, Maulana Muhammad Ali. Y'all okay? So anybody tell you that Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't teach us Quran or prayer or these kind of stuff, brothers and sisters, that's like fantasy. Now, whether we practice it or not is a whole nother story. Yes, sir. But he is clearly telling us that, yes, you must study the Holy Quran, but he's also telling us we've got to learn the language in which it was revealed. We okay? Yes, sir. And that's not an Arab religion or Arab language. Arabic is our original tongue. The people that occupy the Arabian Peninsula are not the original occupants of that peninsula. I say something wrong? No, sir. All right. Let's look at the Holy Quran. This is Maulana Muhammad Ali translation. The way to greatness is found in Surah 16, which is called the B ayats or surahs or ayat or verses 120 through 128. It reads thusly: surely Abraham was a model of virtue, obedient to Allah, upright, and he was not of the polytheists. Now this is his translation of this Arabic. Y'all following me? Come on. See, one day, brothers and sisters, we're going to have to learn how to read from the right side of the book. Instead of being locked into somebody's transliteration of what they're saying. Y'all ain't mad at me, are you? He said, man, I come to hear you talk bad about the white man. You in the wrong place. This is a school. On Sunday, we don't have, mosque is a place for prayer. A temple is a place where you're taught. So for this time, you're in the temple, you're being taught. Come on. We can go pray later. We got prayer rugs, all that. We can do all that. We can worship later. We're here to learn. You're in a university. Grateful for his favors, he chose him and guided him on the right path. Verse 122. And he gave him good, and we gave him good in this world, and in the hereafter he is surely among the righteous. Then we reveal to thee, follow the faith of Abraham, the upright one, and he was not of the polytheists. The Sabbath was ordered only against those who differed about it. And surely thy Lord will judge between them on the day of resurrection concerning that wherein they differed. Call to the way of thy Lord with wisdom and goodly exhortation, and argue with them in the best of manner. Surely thy Lord knows best him who strays from his path, and he knows best those who go aright. And if you take your turn, then punish with the like of that which you were afflicted. But if you show patience, it is certainly best for the patient. And be patient, and thy patience is not but by the help of Allah, and grieve not for them, nor be in distress for what they plan. Surely Allah is with those who keep their duty and those who do good to others. I hope you will follow me. I'm not gonna take you through all of this. I'm just gonna take you through really this first verse. These first couple of verses, because this is really the way to greatness, brothers and sisters. You will find out, as I started off, is God gives you an example. You follow that example, because that one that we're talking about, we're talking about Abraham. Abraham been gone physically for centuries, for thousands of years, but yet we're still talking about him. So what was it that he did that we're still talking about him, that he transcends time and space that he lived in? Lord have mercy. Let's see what we got next. Now let us go into this first verse, or these verses of the Maulana Muhammad Ali translation without the Arabic. And you there, brother? Thank you. What I want you to focus on is this first verse. I'm not going to go through all that again. I just read it for you. But this first verse where it says, surely Abraham was a model of virtue. You see how I got that highlighted in red? Yes, sir. Obedient to Allah, upright, and he was not of the polytheists. Now again, remember, we're talking about the way to greatness. Yes, sir. He was a model of virtue. Now let me show you how this Arabic works. Next. Now, this is that same first verse 7 different translations. We okay? Yes, same first verse now. The Arabic stays the same. But the people's mind of what they're reading changes. So now, Sahil International says, indeed, Abraham was a comprehensive leader, devoutly obedient to Allah, inclining toward truth, and he was not of those who associate others with Allah. Pickthall writes it like this: lo, Abraham was a nation, obedient to Allah, by nature upright, and he was not of the idolaters. Yusuf Ali says, Abraham was indeed a model, devoutly obedient to Allah, and true in faith, and he joined not gods with Allah. Shakir says, surely Ibrahim was an exemplar, obedient to Allah, upright, and he was not of the polytheists. Muhammad Sarwar, right? Abraham was certainly an obedient and upright person. He was not a pagan. Muhsin Khan writes, verily Abraham was an ummah, a leader having all the good, righteous qualities, or a nation, obedient to Allah, Hanifa, to worship none but Allah, and he was not of those who were al-mushrikin, which was polytheists, idolaters, disbelievers in the oneness of Allah, and those who joined partners with Allah. And Arbery writes, surely Abraham was a nation, obedient unto God, a man of pure faith, and not an idolater. Now, how do you get that out of that same Arabic? All these different interpretations. So it just depends. What was in the mind of these men who interpreted the Quran that made them see it that way? Good question. It is because, brother and sister, English is a 500-year-old language. It is an agglomeration or a collection of a bunch of different languages. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. Teach. And it's very difficult for you and I to translate out of our original tongue into this language. That's why black people talk with their hands. That's why when you talk, you say, you feel me? Come on. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't know what you, explain it. Know what I'm talking about? Know what I'm saying? You feel me? We'd be frustrated. If you got your windows rolled up and you watch 2 brothers on the corner talking about the Texan game, you'll think they're about to fight. They talking happy talk. Man, you see my man Watson, man, he threw that touchdown, man, and my man caught the ball and this, that, and the other. Oh, man, look, that's only preseason, man. They was running against the second defense, you know what I'm saying? Oh, man, they get ready to squab. They get ready to fight. And they talking about the game, man. Yeah, man, let's go over the house, man. I got a cold one over the house. Yeah, dog, come on. But you would think them brothers is talking, they go like that. Wouldn't you think they about to fight? Because it's hard to express yourself in this man's language. I'm just giving you an example. Y'all all right? All right. Good example. Now, Minister Farrakhan says to us, we have to end the immature understanding of baby language. Please. He's quoting out of the Restrictive Law of Islam is Our Success, which we study every Wednesday. He said, I remember reading a letter from Master Fard Muhammad to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad where he said, quote, if you don't speak the language correctly, you will not be as successful as I desire you to be, close quote. So the perfection of how we speak is the measuring rod of either our success, lack of success, greater success. It's all dependent on how we progress in the use of language. So it's very important, sisters and brothers. This to me is most important after 32 years of being your student minister, is do not be a slave to oratory. You got to pick up the book for yourself. Do you understand? Otherwise, we become a charismatic character cult. And yes, God has given Minister Farrakhan a unique quality, brothers and sisters. There's no doubt about him. A man that can call for 1 million black men and nearly 2 million show up, that he has a unique quality nobody else has. No one. But brothers and sisters, what happens is when that personality, that person goes where it has to go, then what are you and I left with?
Come on. Great question. Come on.
We don't want to be polytheists.
Come on.
We want to do what Minister Farrakhan teaches us to do. Worship the God that he worshiped.
Come on.
The one that the messenger represents to us. So that we may be successful as he is and have the way to success. Y'all okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, now, let's look at this. I know this is kind of boring for you. Didn't like English class, history class. You didn't like none of them classes. That's all right.
It's not boring.
That's all right. It's gonna be all right. Just hang with me, y'all. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Now, Maulana Muhammad Ali is translating this Arabic. I told you that was on the right-hand side, right? Surely Abraham was a model of virtue, obedient to Allah, upright, and he was not of the polytheists. Abraham was a model of virtue. Now, that is footnoted in the Maulana Muhammad Ali Holy Quran, where he said, Ummat. This word here is Ummat, or Ummatan, means originally a way, course, or mode of acting, a nation, or a community. But it also signifies a righteous man who is an object of imitation, one who is known for goodness, a man combining all kinds of good qualities, one who has no equal.
Beautiful.
So we're looking at a man and a community. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Now this word, Ummatan, I'm sorry that it's so small. It is an accusative, feminine, singular, indefinite noun, even though it's talking about a man. Wow. An accusative case of a noun is used to mark the direct object of a transitive verb. A transitive verb is a verb that accepts one or more objects. Wow. So Abraham is the subject. Was is the transitive, kana. Is the transitive verb, and model of virtue, as he describes it, or model is, of course, the noun that is the object of Abraham. Y'all understand? Y'all all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So he was a model of virtue. But this word is a feminine word. Ummatan, or ummah, means a community.
Look at that.
So Arabic, see, it's just not some old Looney Tune thing you can throw up against the wall and hope something stick. We have to grow. We have to evolve. We have to study. We've got to be better, brothers and sisters, if we're to be the leaders of the world.
Beautiful teaching, brother.
Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
This is a classroom, but sooner or later, you and I have to go out and exercise what we learned in the classroom. This is theory. That out there is the laboratory.
Yes, sir. Good teaching.
All right, let's go. Let's keep it moving. Now, that first verse again. Let's go back. Abraham was Sahil says, a comprehensive leader. Pickthall says, a nation. Yusuf Ali says, a model. Shakir says, an exemplar. Muhammad Sawar says, an obedient and upright person. Mushin Khan says, an ummah, a leader. And Arbery says that he was a nation. Which one is it? Is he a man, a person, or a nation? Or community? Or maybe he's all of the above.
Come on. Teach me, Muhammad. You own it.
The way to greatness. The way to greatness. Come on now. All right. Let's see. Now, this is what Minister Farrakhan says, and I want y'all to lock into this one. Try not to go to sleep on me.
Come on. You sleep long enough.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the first law of the universe is motion. Everything that is living is moving. We live in a universe where everything is in motion. Nothing is really standing still. And when you have motion, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us the second law of the universe is that you must have order. Disorder is the very opposite of order. Order presupposes obedience to law, rules, and regulations. Once you have motion and no order, then the motion starts tearing itself apart. Without order, then you bring your motion to a stop. Disorder produces the death of a society, the death of a nation, the death of a civilization, and it produces your and my death if our life is not ordered. Now, many of us say, man, I want to do my own thing. You Muslims, like, y'all look like y'all, somebody controlling y'all like robots.
Come on with that. Come on with that.
But we know what our life was like when it was in total disarray and disorder. We know what, as the Quran says, that the Satan devil made evil fair seeming to us, made it look good.
Break it down, brother.
And we did it. And we did it well. Some of us were the kings and queens of evil. And not only did we bring death and disorder to our own lives, we brought death and disorder to people whose lives we touched.
Ain't no doubt about it. Drugs. Ain't no doubt about it. My God.
So let's look at what Minister Farrakhan says further. He goes on further in the restrictive law of Islam. Almighty God Allah, in creating life, giving motion to life, and all the planets, would be an unwise God to create the motion, which is a law, and not protect the motion by bringing in the law that gives order to that motion. That's a wise God.
Come on.
In everything that exists, you find a law working. And in everything that exists, you find that the success of that creature is directly due to its obedience to the law under which it was created. Once the creature deviates from the law under which it is created, it starts interfering with its own motion. Then it brings itself to an untimely death. Well, let's look at human beings for a moment. You may not realize this, but we are created as what is called the microcosm, that whatever you see going on in us, you can read it in the universe, for the same God that created us created the universe. So, brothers and sisters, you talking about climate change and global warming and all of that. All that's going on outside of us, but what is going on inside of us? What climate change is going on inside of you and me?
Come on.
They say climate change is caused by man. Climate change is caused by God. Both. Because God is man and man is God. He gave us free will.
Come on.
We can make choices. Just like the people making choices to dump carbon monoxide in the atmosphere, which is causing some global warming. Yes, it is. At the same time, brothers and sisters, we are pouring poison in our minds and in our hearts.
Oh, my God.
And it is making us the opposite. It is making our hearts stony and cold to one another.
Come on. Come on.
So if we want to be successful, brothers and sisters, study God's universe. If there were no books, you could study his book right here called The Creation. There's motion and there's order. Question is, what is your life? Is your life in order? Huh? Are you in college on a scholarship, or are you in college borrowing money? And when you get out of college, you're going to have $60,000 worth of debt, and then you're going to be a slave, because the new slave isn't in chains, the new slave is in debt. And you're going to have to work for how many years to pay off a $50,000 or $60,000 college loan? And then you can't go out there and protest. You can't afford to get arrested, because if you get arrested, you lose your job. So you can't fight for justice for your people. Because you know what? If you do, if there's a war, if they go to war with Iran, you can't say, hell no, I won't go. Because if you get caught burning your draft card, you know, they can still draft you, you know. No, the draft is over. No, and that they can, don't you know that if you sign up for student loan or student financial, I know because I had 4 sons that went to college, so I already know. You have to sign the selective service card in order to get financial aid. So all they got to do is push a button in a national emergency, and we'll all be in the military again, talking about, hup, ho, ho, ho. And if you say, hell no, we won't go, and you protest, and you'll go and you'll storm the administration building and hold the president of college hostage, yeah, well, you go before the judge, and he said, well, I'll tell you what you do. Either go into the military or do 5 years in jail. Which one do you want? You say, yes, sir, reporting for duty.
Never
Not Muhammad Ali. You're right, brother.
Come on.
So
1967.
I'm saying to us, beloved, from the depths of my heart, we got to have the right motion,
Come on.
but we also have to have order to that motion. I'm just going to do something. We need to do something. Okay, go ahead and do something. And then what does it result in? Chaos. Because we haven't put order to that motion.
Come on.
So the way to greatness, brothers and sisters, is to move on something, but to have a guiding law or principle in your life that will guide you. Because if you are free for all woman or free for all man, you just gonna do your thing.
Come on.
You don't want no restraints.
Come on.
Well, you're like a tire that doesn't have a balance on.
Come on.
You riding down the street and your steering wheel shaking like that because you don't have a proper balance on your tire.
Come on.
And eventually it chews up. And if you're going too fast, that tire that chews up will blow out, and then you may crash because you don't have no order to your motion.
My God.
Does that make sense?
Whole lot of sense.
My beloved sisters, I thank Allah for you and your righteousness and your chasteness in being chaste women, righteous women, waiting for a man, waiting for a brother to come and to scoop you up like Prince Charming. I know, I can feel your pain. But one thing I appreciate about you is you be steadfast, sister. Because you know what? You may move out on something and pick the wrong one. You need some order to that motion because the result could be worse. I got no witness bearing over there.
That's right, Mr. Muhammad. That's right. Come on. That's right. Crank it up.
I'm going to
Don't hold back. You don't get over that clock. Don't hold back.
they do. They looking up like, when is he going to finish?
We need to be taught. Teach us. Teach us.
Brothers and sisters, look.
My God. 32 years.
One day, brothers and sisters, you're going to wake up and you're going to realize your own mortality. And you're going to look at your life, what you accomplished and what you failed to accomplish. And then, you not knowing how much time you got ahead of you, you're going to try to set some things straight. Some things are right. In other words, you want to get your stuff in order before you check out. Now, most times when Big Mama is sick and she says, baby, I'm tired. Don't talk like that, Mama. Don't let, baby, I'm tired. She's telling you in the hospital bed, I'm tired. I can't hold this body can't hold this spirit no longer. I can't stay here no. I'm tired. I'm in pain. I'm not functioning the way I knew I used to function. I used to walk around, I cooked my food, I went to work, I did what I had to do. Ain't nobody had to help me to the bathroom. Ain't nobody had to clean me. Nobody had to feed me. I could do these things for myself. Baby, I'm tired. And you don't want, Mama, Mama, don't talk like that. No, shut up, fool. Help her get her affairs in order. Because when Big Mama or Big Papa goes away, then you and your siblings are going to be fighting over what? A fur coat, a hat, a car, huh? The big screen television. Mama wanted me to have this. Daddy wanted me to have his shotgun. Y'all over there fighting over some stuff, man, robbing the bank account, hiding the insurance policy. Maybe there's a will, maybe there's not a will. But what about you? What about me? What if God showed you had a short time? What would you do? What thing would you straighten out in your life? I don't care whether you're 22 years old or 67 years old. What if God showed you that you got less time ahead of you than you got behind you? What things would you put in order? If you couldn't put them all in order, what things would you atone for? What things would you put in order so that you may have something where you would have the way to greatness and you would be like Abraham, they'll still be talking about you years after you're gone? See, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the enemy would not teach us three things. He wouldn't teach us the science of business. He wouldn't teach us that.
No way. No way.
He wouldn't teach us the science of military, because if you build a business, you got to protect it.
My God.
And he wouldn't teach you the science of chemistry, or others have interpreted or said the science of mating. This is why I'm hitting this lick about us having courtship and being married.
Come on. Come on.
And having good marriages.
Come on. Got to have.
We got to have a good man. Brothers and sisters, it's not no bed of, even in a bed of roses, damn it, you got some thorns.
Come on. Come on.
It ain't going to be perfect.
Speak, brother minister.
You looking for perfection, you looking to God. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
What made us like this is a people who objectify women, a society that objectifies women, makes them objects.
Say it, then.
Not God, but objects. Because if you and I really looked at her as God, would we treat her the way we do, brother?
Please speak on that. Come on, brother minister.
And if you really saw the black man as God, as much as it sounds like wishful thinking, given our condition, how much further would you walk with us as we're trying to achieve the perfection that you seek? At a certain point in time, sister and brother, we got to look at ourselves and where we're inadequate. And how oftentimes what we try to do is we hide our inadequacies by casting off on other people.
Come on. Come on.
So I'm going to attack you for what I did to you. You say, that sounds crazy. Yeah, what I did to you. So what I'm going to do is a reverse thing. I did something to you, so I'm going to attack you before you point out what I did wrong.
Come on, brother minister. Come on. Don't hold back.
I don't want to offend, brother. These are God's people. So I have to be very careful how I talk to God's people. See? You got to talk to God's people in a certain kind of way. You got to appeal to the God in them.
Come on.
And the God in you tells you that there's something holding you back from your own greatness. And you're afraid to challenge it. You get right up to the line, and then you pull back. You get right up to the line, and then you pull back. You get right up to the line, and then you won't step over the line. Because, brother and sister, he who gives you the diameter of your knowledge prescribes for you the circumference of your action. If in the back of your mind, in the subconscious, where you really lie, someone has programmed you all this time that you could never accomplish anything but what he or she allows you to accomplish, then that's where you'll stop. We've been programmed like computers to only do certain functions.
Come on, brother minister. Come on.
The program, we've been coded for failure. If we get to a certain point, there's certain things, fail safe. We cannot go forward. It's in fail safe in military is your airplanes are flying, they're heading to the target, and at a certain point in time, they cut off communications with the base. They got to carry out their mission. It's fail safe.
Come on.
Well, we're the opposite. We get past that point where the enemy told us, and we don't know what to do. We'll stop ourselves before going on to what we were born to do.
Come on.
So we sit around here naming, shaming, and blaming
Come on.
instead of looking at ourselves and saying, God gave me this one life. This one life. What am I going to do with it?
Please. Please.
What am I going to achieve with what this gift that God gave me?
Come on, brother minister. Come on, brother minister.
Why should I wallow in a cesspool of mediocrity when it's not even in my DNA? Why must I talk about who built the pyramids and you were not living in the projects?
Come on.
You're going to talk about the past. The past is prologue for the future. If you build pyramids once, you can build them again. Then why can't we? Talk about Nat Turner, but we won't rebel against nobody but our own black leadership. Talk about Garvey, Universal Negro Improvement Association. We won't even improve ourselves, so how are we going to improve the race? That was his birth anniversary was yesterday. We okay?
Yes, sir, we okay.
We will be polytheists if we don't tap into what Minister Farrakhan has tapped into that has launched him where he is. We may be behind him, following him, but yet we have to go that way. And it's not it's not a crystal staircase. It is one of struggle. You're going to be evil spoken of. You're going to be mocked. You're going to be lied on. You're going to be persecuted. But in the end, brothers and sisters, that's how you achieve greatness. There's no great people that ever didn't go through something. You got to be willing to pay the price. If you want a crown, you got to go by way of the cross. Jesus said, deny yourself. He didn't say negate yourself. He said, deny yourself. Pick up your cross and follow me. He never told you, stop at the cross and worship me.
Come on, then. Wake us up.
So look at your and my life, man. Look at it, sister. Look at it, brother. And say, if I only had a year to live, what would I do? What you gonna do with what God has given you? He ain't gave me nothing. He only gave one man one talent. He gave others more talents than that one man. That one man he gave one talent to buried that talent. And then blamed the one who granted him the talent as being somebody that's unfair. I knew you was a harsh, you was going to require money. Yeah, doggone right, man. I gave you this talent. What'd you do with it? Nothing. I'm going to take that one from you and give it to somebody else. So here we are looking at the rich get richer, and we get mad. When we have the ability, brothers and sisters, to enrich ourselves and not be looking at somebody else hating on them. This discussion that's going on about Jay-Z and Colin Kaepernick and all, I'm looking at y'all, I'm listening to y'all saying them. I said, why are we wasting all of our finger muscles on the internet going back and forth about something? Colin Kaepernick got millions of dollars for settling with them, plus he got an endorsement deal from Nike. Jay-Z is a billionaire, so a billionaire arguing about a millionaire, and you ain't got nothing, we ain't got two nickels to rub together. Right now, you can't even keep your mind on what I'm saying right now, worrying about whether that check you wrote over the weekend is going to bounce. Some of you sitting right here, right now, barely got enough gas to get home, and you won't even open your mouth to tell your brother or your sister where you are. And some of us appear so unapproachable that even if I was on down to my last gallon of gas, I wouldn't ask you for nothing. We're so arrogant in our self-righteousness. We mastered one little aspect of the whole universe of God, and now we're going to throw off on somebody else.
Yes, sir. Good teaching, sir. That's real.
Boy, you are. That's right. Boy, Allah got you this morning.
Brother and sister, I want for you what I want for myself.
Come on, brother.
I want you to accomplish your vision, not your dream. You got to be asleep to dream. But I want you to accomplish your vision. See, a vision is something, it doesn't exist in this space and time. It doesn't even exist. It's not here. But you see it anyway. It's here. It's in you. Now you have to bring that vision out of you and make it come to fruition. You have to see something that doesn't exist. You have to say something that sounds crazy to others, but you have to convince yourself and know that this is God speaking to you about your own potential. And sometimes it comes off, Sister Sheila, is arrogant. It comes off as arrogant. Because people say, oh, she, they tripping. Who you think you are? Well, I'm that slave sitting next to you on the damn boat. I'm the one chained next to you, and she's the one chained next to me, and me and her is talking about we're gonna get this cracker, man. As soon as he take us up on deck and have us walking around, but they got fire sticks, they got them rifles, they'll kill us. Man, I don't give a damn, man. When he turn his back, sis, you get his attention, you show him your beauty, and he's gonna look, and when he look, I'm gonna cold cock him, and we're gonna take over this ship. Another one sitting next to us, don't say, y'all crazy. Y'all gonna get us all in trouble.
Come on, brother minister. Come on, brother minister. Show the beauty.
You want to be free? Then act like you're free. Think like you're free. Walk and talk like you're free. And don't be a polytheist. You can't have many gods.
Come on.
Get your focus on the oneness of God and be like Abraham. So let me go. Is it a man or is it a community or is it a nation? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad saying of his minister, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, this is one of the strongest national preachers I have in the bounds of North America. Everywhere you hear him, listen to him. Everywhere you see him, look at him. Everywhere he advises you to go, go. Everywhere he advises you to stay from, stay from. So we are thankful to Allah for this great help of mine, Minister Farrakhan. So now we need an example. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is telling you he's the example.
Come on.
No argument with that. He said what he said.
No doubt about it.
That Theology of Time speech that he gave, July 30th, 1972, he told you to follow this man. Next. So the way to greatness. You're looking at a leader. You're looking at a model. He's an example. He's an exemplar. He's obedient to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and what he taught. That's how he's successful. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir. Come on.
He's an upright person. I never met a man like Farrakhan. Hear me well, brother and sister.
Come on. Speak on it.
Even if I want to charge you, brother, with something, you did something, and I charge you with that, and I bring you before Minister Farrakhan. Let me tell you the kind of man he is. He'll question me as to why I'm bringing it.
Wow.
He want to know my motive. And then when I say, man, Brother James always been doing that, Brother Mister, oh, why are you bringing it to me now? See, he'll turn you over, man, like a hamburger. And make sure you're well done on both sides. See? He's an upright person, brothers and sisters. When he was in Africa, one of those leaders brought him 2 shopping bags full of cash.
Come on.
Mr. Farrakhan looked at it, told his son and his chief of staff, take it back. They said, Dad. He said, take it back. You can't buy me. He made him take the money back to the African leader. No, I'm not for sale. Farrakhan went overseas. Why he didn't get us no business deal? Because he didn't go over there. That's not his role. His role is a reminder. His role is to make sure that the world understands what his teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, taught them and how the Muslim world and the whole world is off. So if he compromised himself by taking money, compromised himself by going there for a deal, That his business is the business of resurrecting not only the black man and woman, but resurrecting the righteous. That's the job of a messenger, Messiah in that mold. Resurrect the righteous. He's not a polytheist. You just don't understand when he said God appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. No associate has he, and this I'm commanding, I'm of those who submit. It's just that we believe that we worship no God but Allah, the one that the messenger represents to us. At a certain point in time, brothers and sisters, you would understand the person and reality of God.
Come on, then.
And you would understand that you would understand God in a way that you could look in the mirror and you would see God yourself.
God.
My name is Abdul Halim. Abdul is servant, slave servant of Halim, the forbearing. Allah is Al-Halim. He is the forbearing. But I get to wear that attribute because minister saw something in me that represents that attribute. I'm not everything else. I'm not Akbar, El-Akbar. I'm not all of those other names. El-Hakim, I'm not the wise. But I am Halim. I'm forbearing. I'm forgiving. I'm patient. I'm like a mother. The word is Arabic. It's like a mother that looks at his children and knows. You don't understand yet. So I'm going to wait patiently. I'm not going to punish you. I'm going to wait patiently till you grow up into who you are and stop acting like a child.
Man. Stop. Come on, brother minister.
Farrakhan's not a polytheist. Because to be a polytheist means he teaches us shirk, disbelief. And how can a man that's successful with the whole world against him, the most powerful white people on the earth, the Jews, are against him?
That's right. Every day.
White evangelicals against him, Republicans, Democrats against him, sellout Negroes against him, Muslim world against him, yet he's successful. Explain that to me, being a polytheist and a disbeliever. How can you do that? Those two things are incongruent. They don't go together. Farrakhan is a nation. He's a community. He's a group. He always thinking about us, our, and we. Every waking and sleeping moment that Farrakhan had, he's thinking about his nation. Why ain't he dead yet? I mean, he's been through 4 near-death experiences, 86 years old. Why ain't he dead yet? Because the will of God in him, he loves us so much he don't want to leave us in the way that we are, doubting our own selves, following in suspicion and doubt, being personality worshipers. He wants us to stand on our own 2 spiritual feet, brother and sister, and get up and stand up and live out the greatness that you know that's in you, but you're afraid to step out on it.
God, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
At a certain point in time, he's going to see in us that spark of God. And then he'll know he can go to rest and go to his Father, because we're going to take the nation forward and it'll never fall again. He'll know that at a certain point in time. But I cherish every moment, every second, every hour I can have with him in this day and time. He is a nation. He is a community. He's the embodiment of what Elijah Muhammad taught. And if we would reflect him, we would be great too. Called to the way of Allah with wisdom, goodly, kind exhortation. I'm making an appeal to you. I could beat up on the white man all day long. That's not going to do you no good.
No good.
I'm calling to you. I'm calling the God out of you.
Please. Please.
You're like a lamp that's been cast aside. I'm going to pick you up off the junk pile. I'm going to rub you and watch that genie come out and grant your 3 wishes. God is hiding up in you. You just need somebody to rub you up so that that God can come up out of you. Y'all okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So I'm not talking down to you. I'm trying to get you to see you're wasting your time following the path that you're following right now. Even those of us who are in the mosque, we really are off.
Yes, sir.
Because we're resting on what we thought we knew. And we're not trying to go within our own teachings and find the new knowledge that's sitting right up in there. We're looking for something new all out here when it's sitting right here and we haven't even mastered what we got.
Come on, brother Mills. You own it.
And argue with them in the most pleasant and best of manner. I'm not cussing. I'm not using foul language. I'm just speaking to you like your brother.
With love, with love. Thank you.
Punished to the extent that you have been persecuted. You can't overreact on people. Huh? Somebody steps on your toe, you hit them in the head with a baseball bat?
Come on. Really? Come on. Come on. Really? Sick.
Somebody offends you, you cuss them out to high heaven? What? What did I do?
Come on. Anger management.
If anybody fights with us, this verse in the Quran is telling us anybody that fights with you, you put on them what they put on you, but no more than that. But Allah says, be patiently persevering. You don't have to retaliate. Why don't you be patient? We're taught as laborers, we're supposed to take plenty. Take plenty.
Humility.
Take plenty.
Come on, brother Mills.
You can't fix a people white folk are broke if you're not willing to take plenty. You got to have patience with the people. You got to love them more than they hate themselves.
Come on. Come on.
What does the Bible say? I'm not doing much Bible today. Because the Quran is the root of Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. So we're going to teach Quran. We're going to go Quran. I'll give you a little bit of Bible because many of you are Christian, but I'll put it like this. Master, how many times shall we forgive our brother if he offends us?
Come on. Come on.
He says 7 times 70. You do the math. That's 490, ain't it?
Come on.
So has anybody offended me 490 times? Probably so. But I got to forgive. Did it make sense? How many times have we offended Minister Farrakhan? How many times has he told us to do something? We clapped and applauded and walked away and did something else. Come on, brother and sister. But yet he continues to come back and love us and love us and love us and make over us and love 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 us. When are we going to love each other like he loves us?
Great question. Yes, sir. Good question.
Patiently preserving. All right. Is the way to greatness, is it an individual or is it a community? Mr. Farrakhan said of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, 2008, I went and I spoke at the MUI, and I had just come back from Turkey, and I seen the Topkapi Palace that they had built for these sultans. And I seen everything in gold. And then I thought about our house in Chicago called the Palace, and I said, man, so I said something stupid. I said, I call it the National House, but I can no longer call it the Palace. Minister came back that Thursday to speak at the believers meeting. The mosque was packed, Brother Johnny. The mosque was packed. They thought they got word the minister was angry with what I said.
Come on.
They thought I was going to get my head chopped off.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, they was ready for that execution, brother.
Come on.
He came out and he told them, no. He said, no, brother. He said, don't say that. He said, it is the palace. But he said, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to me, brother, he said, wherever you are, brother, the mosque is. He said, so I could be underneath a tree. The mosque is under a tree.
Come on.
So is the way to greatness an individual, or is it a community or a group? So why is it that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad will say that wherever he is, the mosque is? Because in his heart and in his mind and in his soul is our well-being. Mosque ain't a building.
Come on. Come on.
The Quran is not just a book. In this book, there's no doubt in it. It is a guide for those. It's a guide. You can't have the book without a man. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said in his last sermon, he said, if you follow this book in my way, you will not deviate. Not just this book, not just my way, but this book and my way. So you got to have the man and the word. Y'all.
Come on.
So let's go and let's complete this. So where is the mosque? What is the way to greatness? Is it a building or is it a man? Let's see. Let's go. Come on. We're going to finish this up. It is a man because the mosque has to be in you and me. And what did the man do? The man served us, so now we got to go and serve the people. This is what we do, brothers and sisters. It ain't no building. We come there, we check in, we get cleaned up, we get gassed up, and we go back out on the mission. We don't sit up in no building, man. We ain't playing church. Y'all ain't hear me? We're out to serve the people like we did on yesterday. We serving the people. This is young Romeo down there at the Kings Row Apartments with Brother Jesse Muhammad. That's the little 4-4-year-old brother that got shot and had operations, man, hundreds of, damn near dozens of operations, man. He's a miracle walking right now. All praises due to Allah. We did a school supply giveaway. I had Brother Cliff, our chess master, teaching the kings and queens in Kings Row how to play chess. We got our children involved with the backpack giveaway. We had Brother Dave, and they was cooking burgers and hot dogs, and woo, we was getting big. The people was in line. Y'all ain't. What? Here I am. I'm sitting on the corner with my Quran. My Hebrew brother sitting on the other corner with his loudspeaker and his Bible. The Christians on the other corner over there by the Walgreens, he got his Bible. Jehovah's Witnesses over there on the other corner with their tracts. We sitting up there arguing, and then there's somebody sitting in the middle of OST and Scott with a hamburger, French fries, and hot dog in his hand, and a hungry man comes by. Which one of them is going to get him?
Make it plain, Mr. Muhammad. Make it plain, Mr. Muhammad.
Bread or life. Come on, brother Mills.
Let's show him some more. We was on the north side. You said, but they don't say nothing about the mosque, no more bloodshed, and young black warrior. But who's that in the middle of all these people? That's Derek Muhammad. Don't he come out this mosque? Yes, sir. North side, and more backpacks. North side, south side. Next. So, on yesterday, our Victory Hunger Report, we did 320 lunches, 100 final calls, and raised $176 towards the purchase of non-perishable food. We distributed on the north and south sides of Houston these 320 lunches. Year to date, we have distributed 4,737 lunches and 1,346 final call newspapers. All praises due to Allah right out of here. At Kings Row Apartments, Action CDC played a part in that, and we did intake of about 200 people so we can case manage and serve our people's needs. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Birthed out of this very mosque is Artists Respecting Community, the vision of Wicked Cricket. Hip-hop mogul, he made most of these rappers in this city, believe it or not.
Yes, he did.
He passed away, but his vision lives on. It's right out of this mosque. And the origin of that is Minister Farrakhan's mouth. 2014, in the Salam restaurant, Minister Farrakhan met with the gang leaders and the hip-hop artists in Chicago for hours. And then he turned to his ministers, I'm one of them sitting in there, and he said, I want you to go back to your city and do what you saw me do here. Huh? And I came right back here, right in this building, and I asked Kay Reno, would you call together the hip-hop community? So I had me talk to them, and we've been meeting for years, and now they're formed the Artist Respecting Community. Out of the Justice or Else Local Organizing Committee, Mr. Farrakhan said, don't let the LOC die. So I didn't care, Sister Terry, if it was 2 or 3 of us in a meeting. I was there, right? And I wouldn't let it die, right? I wouldn't let it go. But the LOC has given birth to United in Peace, Artist Respecting Community, 21st Century Challenge, New Educational Paradigm, and much more.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
My God.
Now, when there was 3 of us sitting up in Shape Center, who could have saw this? I did. I knew one day that this would happen. What am I telling you, brothers and sisters? This isn't about I. This is about we, us. What do we see? What do we want? If there's 2 million people in this city or 2 million black people in Harris County in this whole area, how many of them have we touched with the word? You get what I'm saying? Right, give me another hour. I'll be finished. Give me this next. So we're out serving the people, serving our people, touching their lives, being seen and felt. This is what we got to do. This ain't about a building. The mosque is in us. So let's take the mosque to the people. And then the people and us become the mosque. The ceiling, the roof of the mosque is the sky, and the floor of the mosque is the earth itself. Y'all.
Beautiful teaching.
Beautiful.
Let's see some more.
Come on, Brother Miller.
Let's see some more. So, the rappers themselves have not just, I want to rap, get on the microphone, spit some verses, know what I'm saying, know what I'm talking about, you know. Let me clear my throat. No, they don't do that. That's an oldie, but good. Yeah. But the rappers themselves now, going out, 50 rappers, 50 meals. And they fix them right here. Don't this place look familiar? They come right here and fix these meals, inspired by what Sister Maddie and the Victory Wellness Program has done. They go out and feed them. Go out and feed. Sister Helen helped organize our sisters and brothers to go be in the breast cancer walk. That's why some of them wearing pink. The sisters wearing pink. I don't see any brothers wearing pink. But the sisters wearing pink, escorted by the mighty FOI. But that's because one of our sisters had breast cancer and passed away from breast cancer, so we walked for her. Y'all okay?
Yes, sir.
You got 10,000 Fearless Emergency Response Team Houston. You got brothers and sisters in this mosque, man, that are highly trained for disaster. These are swift water recovery. So if I get stuck in the bayou, I want you to jump in there like Crocodile Dundee and save me, brother.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to put a little levity to it, but the truth of the matter is, sister and brother, we're going to have to take care of ourselves.
It's real.
If Hurricane Harvey didn't teach you anything, that 911 gets inundated, what you going to do? You need to know how to care for yourself. I'm almost finished. Give me another 3 seconds.
Come on.
Let's
Come
go.
on. Come on, Brother Miller. Finish it.
We are the conscious within the conscious community.
Right.
We are the alarm clock that woke Negroes depend on. Because if it weren't for the coming of God, you wouldn't be woke. And when black went out of favor and we became minorities and African Americans, you wasn't thinking about Doc Ben, Ashwa Kwesi, John Henry Clark. You wasn't talking about that. They wasn't talking about them. You wouldn't know anything about Khalid Abdul Muhammad if it weren't for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. There would be no new Black Panthers because there would have been no Khalid Muhammad. Had not Minister Farrakhan stood back up to rebuild the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He made black popular again, so now you want to be Afrocentric. Now sisters are wearing their hair natural again. When you were straightening it out in the 80s and 90s and weave it to achieve it and sew it to grow it. Talk to me, talk to me.
Come on, Brother Miller. Come on, Brother Miller. Wake us up. You own it.
You thought you made it. affirmative action babies. You thought because you and I could sleep at the Hyatt and sit on the toilet with white folks at the bus station, we had arrived. And all the time, you and I sleep. And we finally got a chance to live in the suburbs, to get us a nice house in the suburbs. And then one moved in. White folk looked at you, hi, how are you, who are you? Then two moved in, uh-oh. Three moved in. Four is called blockbusting. The fourth Negro that moved in on the block, white folks start selling their houses. It's called blockbusting. Then their children doubled back on you.
That's right.
See, they moved out further. You moved to Ridge Gate, they moved to Bride Gate. You moved to Bride Gate, they moved to Meadow Creek. You moved to Meadow Creek, they moved out to and further to Sugar Land. Now the children don't want to cut the grass. They don't want to walk a Great Dane. They want a Shih Tzu, and they want to live in a little box down there in downtown where they can catch the rail, ride the bike, get a scooter, catch an Uber to go to the museum, to go to the medical center, to go to the college, to go to the baseball field, to go to the soccer field, to go to George R. Brown, to go to all of that they built for themselves while you and I abandoned the hood.
God.
And now you want to cry about gentrification when Elijah Muhammad told you to do something for yourself and buy up where you lived.
Say it. Say that, Brother Miller.
The way to greatness is through obedience to God and through the man that he's put in your midst.
God.
We're not here to make followers, ignorant worshipers.
Come on.
We're here to make scholars. We're here to make scientists. I'm going to be so bold, we're here to make gods.
Say that. All day too. Come on, Brother Miller. It's your day.
It's Allah's day.
He's using you.
When you see this, the white man know he didn't make this. You may think we're strange. You may think we're robots. We're automatons. We don't think for ourselves. And somehow we in a personality cult. No, I'm fighting against that. We're going to make sure we ain't got no charismatic character cult up in here. Because everybody should be free to be who they were born to be, but give order to that motion. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
But they know they didn't make this.
No doubt about it.
The white man, even if we dress a Negro up in a suit, we still might be Negroes. I don't want to use that other N word. I'm trying to get better. But Keith, it's hard. But I'm not going to use that word. But when you look at our women, in a world that teaches them to undress, but at least they're covering, we educating our own children. What do you teach them? They're teaching Farrakhan, they're teaching hate. We're not teaching hate, we're teaching the truth. We're teaching them to have a root in themselves. To love self does not mean to hate others. White man comes from us. He's our child. I can't be an anti-Semite. Semites come from me. That'd be like hating my own children. That'd be like hating my own children. So who would you say Farrakhan's an anti-Semite? I said, no, my son, I don't hate you. What do you mean, my son? You're my child. You can't produce me, but I can produce you. When you mature, brothers and sisters, when we mature, not you, I'm not going to speak like you, and I'm not trying to evolve. You get to the point where you're so comfortable in your own skin, you really don't care what people think at all. White, Jew, Gentile, Arab, I don't care what you are. I know that I am the original man. I know that I'm the father of civilization.
That's a fact.
I know we're the first people on this earth.
That's a fact.
Huh? And I know that we will be the last.
Say it.
I know that we're on the bottom right now, but the scriptures promise that we'll be raised to the top. I know the end of this drama. And when you know it, why don't you show it? Why you and I walk around looking down on the ground? Ain't nothing down there.
Nothing.
What are you whispering for? Be like him. No, be like him. What are you whispering for? Be like him. No, that's right. Be humble, but be like him. Yeah, that's right. But you can say it without saying it. So they cock their head back. The sister know how to make that headpiece go like, and look at him like over your shoulder. You know that look. You know how to do that, sis. Black man, you can walk. You know, Muslim got swag.
Come on.
How do we walk among people where the police are afraid to go without backup?
Come on.
We don't carry any weapons.
Come on.
But we go where angels fear to tread. How is that? Why do the rappers and hip-hop artists respect us?
Come on.
Huh? Why can we go amongst the bangers and at least they'll respect us? Why?
Put the guns down. Come on.
What is it that makes us the envy of men and you the desire of men? It is your righteousness. It is our righteousness. It's not our good looks. It's not how smart we are. It is our righteousness that is the magnetism that attracts the world to us. If we're right, then we'll attract what we need. To the extent that we're not, we'll repel what we need and what we want. So I leave you, brothers and sisters, by giving you this last vision. If we are going to do anything in a building, it'll be Mosque 45, the Southwest Regional Center for Re-Education and Retraining here in Houston, Texas. This house is dedicated to helping the Messiah Mahdi in his mission of establishing a universal government of peace, the kingdom of Allah God, wherein we all can live in peace together. This house honors the service and sacrifice of those who have preceded us, meaning those who have returned to Allah. You can name all of the names. Brother Marty, Brother Ali, I can just go down the list. We need to get a plaque and have all their names up. We want to honor the pioneers and elders who are among us. I know Brother Baha don't want to consider himself a pioneer, but he's prior to 75. So Brother Allen and Sister Betty and others, we have to honor them. Y'all mad at me?
No, sir.
And the elders who are among us. They may not have been prior to 75, but they're elders among us, and they're still soldiering. Brother Alonzo, we need to honor them while we still have them among, give them flowers while they live. And lastly, the youth who will succeed us. Now, I'm going to say this, brothers and sisters. Understand this. A youthless mosque is a useless mosque. And most preachers and politicians don't pay attention to youth, and you want to know why? Because they don't tithe. Most politicians don't pay attention to youth because they don't vote. But yet we say they're our future. So this mosque, this center has to be dedicated to them. So we have to consult with them as to how they want to program this space. Since they're the ones, I want them to be able to bring their friends here and have righteous fun in the name of God. I don't want them hiding up in some cubby hole, getting high, or doing the nasty and all that. Come on now. Did I say something wrong? No, they should be able to do the electric slide or the Dougie Fresh or whatever they be doing. I don't know what to do the Dougie. They can do all that. They can do that right. Do that somewhere in here on these grounds. You got to have a vision, brothers and sisters. Without a vision, the people perish. We got to see something that don't exist. I know you don't see it, but there has to be a place of worship, a place we fellowship, that we gather, we get together. If
You don't let go. Go.
if we pull up all the pews up out of that and put tables in there to have a banquet or luncheon, so we can come together, just be together. Put up a screen and watch a righteous movie, a documentary or something. Just be with one another.
Teach.
Huh? We got talent. We got people who can sing and dance and do poetry up in here. Why can't they just do that and we just enjoy one another's company? Yeah.
That would be beautiful. Yes.
Beautiful. Very beautiful. Very beautiful.
If you could see it, you can achieve it, brothers and sisters.
Say it, brother man.
So, a place to teach, a place to train, a place to learn, a place to create, a place to organize. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the mosque should be the employment center.
Come on.
It should be a place we come and we put our minds together on how we're going to support our own economic life.
That's a fact.
It should be a place we should bring these political candidates to, a house that's worthy of the word that we preach, and sit them down. We sit like a panel and tell them, okay, this is our agenda. How do you respond to that? And let them watch them, see them dance.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
And then we'll say, okay, you're dismissed. Like Orange Juice Jones would say, you're dismissed. And then we vote among ourselves, well, we're going to support this candidate or that candidate, and we collect some money off campus, though. We can't do it on this. This is a not-for-profit. We can't do that there. But still, we can still screen candidates.
Come on.
And then we decide for ourselves who we're going to support. We write them a check, and we go out and we work for them to put them in office.
Come on.
What's wrong with that?
It's got to be about us.
It has to be a center that is the torchlight for this community. And I don't care what they gentrify around here. They gentrify around here, brothers and sisters, your value of your property goes up.
Come on.
And then at the proper time, when we outgrow this place in about 5 years, maybe sooner, then we can cash in and cash out. Then we'll buy some acres. Then what I got a PhD in is urban planning. Then Alexander can build us some houses. And Brother Fahim can build us some stores and restaurants and our school. Yo, what's wrong with you? And then we can live together for real. I would gladly sell my house and use my equity.
Yes, sir.
With you sell your house and your equity. And we buy a compound and live together.
I would love that. Yes, sir.
And use our collective credit. Those of us who got credit, not critic.
Yes, sir.
Come on, brother man.
You're not really feeling me because you're thinking about me. Me. See, me. No, I ain't going in with them.
That would be great. Yes, sir.
Shock the world. Shock time.
No vision, you perish. Because you're going to look out for you and don't look out for us. Then when they come for you, you're going to want us to fight for you. At a certain point in time, we got to give up the I, me, and mine.
Come on with that.
Deny yourself.
Come on, brother.
Pick up your cross. The cross is to unite with black people. The cross is to answer the question that got the black man in heaven. When will black people unite? They'll unite now because we're going to be forced to unite. Donald Trump is the four winds blowing right now.
Come on.
Donald Trump is going to make you and I unite. And you may hope in one hand and poo-poo in the other for the Democrats to win, but if they don't, then what you going to do? What you going to do?
Good teaching. Good teaching.
So at a certain point in time, brothers and sisters, them dry bones,
Come on.
they rattled, they shook, but they had to stand up an exceedingly great army.
Come on.
And that's what we're building here, an army of gods, to bring into a new reality. And lastly, and I'll leave you with this, why don't we do something for the next 50 years?
There you go.
You and I are not going to see it, but why don't we do something for the next 50 years so that when a 12-year-old standing up here at 62 years old, they'll say, my foreparents, when they stood on this ground, 50 years ago, they said, we're going to do so-and-so and so-and-so, and I'm here to tell you, meaning your children and grandchildren, we did it.
That's right.
Why don't we set the stage now? You and I are not going to live forever unless we do something worthy for our name to live forever. So I know you're tired.
No. Come on. Finish it how you want. Gotta have the vision.
So you got to have some vision. Oh, but we've been let down before. White man let you down for 464 years. You still going to work tomorrow. You still going to his damn grocery store. You going to write a check and pay him his mortgage or his rent. You still taking his medicine. You ain't even questioning what the hell is in that bottle. He told you it's aspirin. It might be anything.
Come on, black, white people. Teach, brother minister. Black, white.
Black man stand before you and tell you something that God wants you to raise up from your condition and be what he created you to be, like himself. So where you can look at a thing and say, kun fayakun, be, and it is. Because the whole universe will back you if you'll stand up fearlessly and not be a polytheist and focus on the God that Farrakhan taught us to focus on and rely on that same God like he relied on, like Elijah Muhammad relied on, and stand up even if you're standing up alone. Yes, sir. And make a change in this world and be the change that you want. So accept your own and be yourself, brothers and sisters, and may Allah bless you. As I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.